I need to tell you about something absolutely extraordinary that has just emerged, and I truly mean extraordinary. Meghan Markle, the former Duchess of Sussex, has long captivated the world with her glamour, influence, and carefully curated image. But now, a hidden chapter from her past has erupted into the spotlight. Her Canadian ex, chef Corey Vitiello, has finally broken his silence, revealing personal details, alleged mistreatment, and timelines that challenge the story Meghan has presented for years. The revelations have Buckingham Palace on high alert, forcing King Charles to act immediately. But what exactly did Corey reveal? And how severe was the palace's response? This is the story. Corey breaks decade-long silence. After years of careful silence, Meghan Markle's Canadian ex-boyfriend, chef Corey Vitiello, has finally stepped forward, and what he revealed has sent shockwaves straight to Buckingham Palace. For more than a decade, Corey kept his distance, quietly respecting boundaries and maintaining privacy, while Meghan's life skyrocketed from Hollywood sets to royal engagements. But his restraint has ended, and the details he shared threaten to unravel parts of Meghan's past that the public has never fully seen. Corey's approach was striking in its calmness. He did not storm onto social media, launch a bitter tirade, or make explosive accusations. Instead, he chose a methodical and controlled release of information, blending personal observations with carefully framed questions about overlapping timelines, unusual legal records, and moments in Meghan's life that had previously remained sealed from public view. Every word carried weight without theatrics, forcing observers to take notice. This was not gossip, this was precision. A quiet power that hit harder because of its subtlety. Within hours, the media reacted at lightning speed. News outlets across the globe issued alerts. Screens lit up with headlines. Analysts, commentators, and social media users dissected every syllable and nuance as the private details Corey revealed became a matter of public debate. Suddenly, what had been locked behind doors, kept within carefully curated biographies and controlled narratives, was being questioned in real time. People were not just interested in who Meghan had dated. They were asking deeper questions about the sequence of events, the legal intricacies, and the hidden corners of her life that had been carefully managed for years. The palace responded immediately. Sources at Buckingham Palace indicate that King Charles ordered emergency briefings, classifying the situation as a serious institutional risk. This was not another celebrity scandal or tabloid story to be filed and forgotten. The stakes were higher. The reputation of the monarchy itself, centuries old and painstakingly preserved, could be impacted. Every advisor and every legal mind within the royal household was suddenly on high alert. Corey Vitiello's decision to break his silence set the stage for a media firestorm capable of reshaping Meghan Markle's public image and testing the very stability of the royal family. One measured disclosure, delivered with quiet precision, had transformed the past into a present crisis. Meghan's ex-boyfriend had finally chosen to speak after many years, prompting King Charles to call for an urgent briefing. But what could he have revealed that unsettled the king? Could he be holding a secret that directly challenges the integrity of the crown? Let's find out. Corey's calm revelation that shook the crown. Corey Vitiello, Meghan Markle's Canadian ex, did not choose the route of dramatic public confrontation. Instead, he opted for precision, allowing subtlety and timing to do the work. In a carefully controlled podcast interview, he presented a mix of personal memories and factual observations, guiding listeners through a narrative that was calm yet quietly devastating. He claimed that during their 2-year relationship, from 2014 to 2016, he experienced emotional mistreatment and hinted that Meghan may have maintained contact with Prince Harry even before their breakup. Supporting his account, he reportedly possesses messages, notes, and testimonies from friends that corroborate key elements of his story. But Corey did not stop at personal allegations. He meticulously scrutinized timelines, drawing attention to overlapping dates and periods in the early 2010s when public records and Meghan's official accounts appeared to conflict. He He referenced legal documents filed in a U.S. county that, according to experts, were unusual and highly atypical. There was no sensationalism, no shouting or finger-pointing. He asked questions calmly and deliberately, allowing the facts, inconsistencies, and legal anomalies to speak for themselves. This measured approach amplified the impact of his revelations. By avoiding outright accusations, he created space for observers to weigh the facts and notice gaps in Meghan's widely accepted public narrative. What had once been private history suddenly became a subject of intense public scrutiny. Social media buzzed with speculation. Online forums erupted in debate, and commentators dissected every carefully chosen word. The shift was subtle but profound. Attention moved from Meghan's carefully crafted narrative of personal reinvention to a far more critical question: was her story completely truthful? For Buckingham Palace, the implications were immediate and serious. King Charles reportedly ordered emergency briefings, categorizing the situation as a significant institutional risk. This was no ordinary celebrity scandal. It was a potential threat to the credibility of the monarchy itself. By breaking his long silence in this deliberate, controlled way, Corey set the stage for a storm that could redefine public perception of Meghan Markle and force the palace into a rare, urgent defensive posture. It illustrated how a single, carefully timed revelation can ripple across private and royal worlds alike. Corey further revealed that he was still Meghan's boyfriend when she allegedly began dating Prince Harry. But does Meghan's personality truly reflect such audacity? And what does this revelation mean for her image as the wife of the future king? Now, let's examine the cracks in Meghan's carefully crafted public image, the fragile facade of reinvention. Since stepping away from her royal duties, Meghan Markle has carefully shaped an image the world could admire: independent, resilient, and unapologetically herself. She was no longer just a duchess. She became a symbol of self-empowerment, someone who had reclaimed her voice after years of scrutiny and transformed personal challenges into a global platform of influence. Every interview, every public appearance, and every statement appeared meticulously designed to reinforce a narrative of transparency and strength. Her story felt like a triumph of reinvention, a carefully crafted portrait of a modern royal navigating life on her own terms. Yet Corey Vitiello's revelations threatened to crack that polished exterior in ways few could have anticipated. His accounts of emotional mistreatment during their 2-year relationship, combined with the claim that Meghan may have been in contact with Prince Harry before their breakup, forced a sudden shift in focus. The scrutiny did not stop there. Overlapping timelines, unusual legal records, and sealed documents from the early 2010s introduced questions that extended beyond personal history. Suddenly, Meghan's narrative of resilience and empowerment was overshadowed by a far more sensitive question: could the story she presented to the public be fully trusted? Public perception, once solidly supportive, began to waver. Fans and critics alike started to wonder whether certain chapters of her life had been deliberately edited or softened to ease her path into the royal family. Every carefully framed anecdote, every curated photo, and every public statement now came under examination. What once seemed like transparency now risked appearing selective, a crafted image masking complexity or controversy. The very facade she had spent years constructing, polished with precision and reinforced through consistent messaging, suddenly appeared perilously fragile. What had once symbolized strength now showed visible cracks, exposing vulnerability beneath the glamour and influence. In a matter of weeks, a reputation that had seemed nearly untouchable began to shift. Uncomfortable questions emerged, not only about personal choices, but about honesty, credibility, and the true story behind the life the public believed it knew. The facade Meghan Markle had built through years of careful planning appeared dangerously fragile after Corey Vitiello's revelations. But how precise were his claims? Could they withstand legal scrutiny? Let's unravel the astonishing details. Corey's calm precision. Corey Vitiello's greatest strength was not loud confrontation or dramatic spectacle, it was restraint. From the moment he stepped into the minimalist podcast studio, he set a tone of deliberate control. Every word he spoke, Every carefully chosen phrase carried significance. There were no raised voices, no emotional outbursts, no theatrical attacks. Instead, he relied on precision, allowing facts, subtle personal insights, and careful timing to speak louder than anger ever could. He combined personal recollections with meticulous scrutiny of past events, pointing to overlapping timelines, subtle inconsistencies, and unusual legal records from Meghan's early years. One expert guest, a practicing attorney, confirmed that some of the legal filings he referenced were exceptionally rare and legally atypical, adding weight and credibility to his statements. Corey never resorted to labeling Meghan as dishonest or malicious. Instead, he posed questions calmly and deliberately, allowing the details and irregularities to speak for themselves. The power of his approach lay in its understatement. Every pause, every observation reinforced the seriousness of the revelations without overt accusation. Meanwhile, Meghan's team reacted swiftly, launching a public counteroffensive that framed his claims as fabrications or misunderstandings. Yet the contrast between the two approaches was striking. Corey's composed and measured delivery projected credibility and composure, while the reactive denials, however forceful, appeared defensive and emotionally charged. In the court of public opinion, tone often matters more than content, and Corey's quiet authority amplified the perceived seriousness of his disclosures. Media analysts and palace insiders alike took notice. The subtlety of his method drew attention not just to what he revealed, but to how he revealed it. Calm, collected, and deliberate, Corey transformed silence into leverage and restraint into influence. He demonstrated that in a world dominated by spectacle and emotion, a measured voice can be far more devastating. But how close were Corey and Meghan for him to reveal such daunting details? And why did he wait until she was firmly established to speak out? Now, let's explore Meghan Markle's life before she stepped into the royal spotlight. Corey, the silent witness. Long before Meghan Markle became the Duchess of Sussex, before the global spotlight and royal titles, her life unfolded at a quieter, more personal pace. During that time, she shared her everyday world with Canadian chef Corey Vitiello. Their 2-year relationship may have appeared private to outsiders, but it was a chapter filled with ordinary routines, ambitions, and pivotal decisions that would unknowingly shape Meghan's extraordinary future. Even as Meghan crossed paths with Prince Harry for the first time in 2016, Corey remained a presence in her life. He lived in the same home, quietly witnessing moments that would later become part of a worldwide narrative. His position was unique. He was not merely a former partner, but someone who observed firsthand the unfolding events that no one outside that home could see. Every laugh, every glance, every private conversation between Meghan Markle and Prince Harry took place under the same roof, a detail few could have imagined. Reports suggest that after their initial date, Prince Harry traveled secretly to Toronto to spend time with Meghan. He reportedly stayed at a friend's home while Corey Vitiello still shared a residence with her, navigating an incredibly delicate situation. From this vantage point, Corey witnessed the subtle beginnings of a relationship that would eventually captivate global attention. He observed as Meghan balanced old ties with new ones, negotiating emotions, decisions, and opportunities that would ripple across continents. For years, Corey maintained his silence. He did not seek fame, media attention, or retaliation. His discretion shielded private moments from becoming public spectacle, preserving a hidden chapter of Meghan's life. Now that he has chosen to speak, however, his words carry more than personal grievance. They carry the weight of intimate knowledge and insider's perspective on the private crossroads that led Meghan toward royalty. His revelations illuminate unseen and nuanced decisions that helped shape public perception, offering insights as explosive as they are unprecedented. For the palace, for Prince Harry, and for Meghan's carefully curated image, this perspective is nothing short of seismic. Corey claims he witnessed Meghan begin dating Prince Harry while still living with him, and even saw them meet in secret. But could there be deeper layers behind these private encounters? What personal pain compelled him to speak after so many years of restraint? Let's uncover the hidden story. The wedding that almost was. Long before Meghan Markle became a global figure, before royal titles and red carpet appearances, her life was already shaped by ambition, charm, and calculated decisions. Every choice appeared deliberate, every connection seemed part of a larger vision. Yet within that whirlwind existed a chapter few truly knew, a chapter that nearly altered the course of her future entirely. In the summer of 2014, just weeks before she would meet Prince Harry for the first time, Meghan reportedly came close to marrying Canadian chef Corey Vitiello. Their two-year relationship had defined a formative period of her early adult life, shaping her routines, priorities, and personal growth. Together, they navigated the highs and lows of young adulthood, exploring careers, cities, and shared aspirations. At one point, their relationship appeared to stand on the brink of lifelong commitment, a possibility that could have dramatically redirected Meghan's path. During this period, Meghan traveled across Canada documenting her experiences on her now-defunct lifestyle blog, The Tig. She visited numerous restaurants, highlighting the individuals behind them and celebrating passion, creativity, and dedication. Among them, Corey stood out not only for his culinary talent, but for his character. In one post, Meghan wrote words that seemed to reflect genuine admiration. And maybe that's part of it. The small-town charm and moral compass of someone who doesn't come from the big city, but dreams big thoughts. Those sentiments suggested respect that extended beyond casual affection. This glimpse into Meghan's pre-royal life underscores how deeply intertwined Corey once was in her world. He was not merely a boyfriend, he was a partner during formative years, present during pivotal moments that quietly shaped her future. His prolonged silence, maintained for years, and the revelations he now shares carry considerable weight. What was once a private chapter has transformed into a flashpoint, one with the potential to challenge carefully constructed public narratives. It serves as a reminder that even the most polished public image often rests upon complex and powerful histories beneath the surface. Corey may have married Meghan before Prince Harry ever entered the picture. But how did King Charles respond to these claims? What steps were taken to verify them? And what did the palace uncover? The palace on high alert. Across the Atlantic, Buckingham Palace monitored developments with intense scrutiny. Every statement and subtle revelation from Corey Vitiello was logged, analyzed, and debated within the institution's historic corridors. For King Charles, a monarch acutely aware of the fragile balance between public perception and institutional stability, the matter was far from trivial. Even private disputes can escalate into national or constitutional concerns if mishandled. The monarchy's reputation, cultivated over centuries, is not built to withstand prolonged controversy without consequence. Daily briefings reportedly flagged Corey Vitiello's name under the category of institutional risk. Advisors and legal experts examined every scenario, assessing how his statements, documents, and potential follow-ups might affect the crown. These were not casual discussions, they were urgent deliberations. Every advisor understood that a single misstep in response could spiral into a public relations crisis with lasting consequences for Meghan, Prince Harry, and the monarchy itself. Then came a rare and decisive move. King Charles reportedly picked up the phone and personally called California. The message was clear, direct, and unmistakable. The crown would not conceal or protect any secrets that predated Meghan Markle's entry into royal life. Any evidence capable of undermining the institution's credibility would be met with decisive action, including revoked titles, withdrawn privileges, and formal distancing. The call sent a signal not only to Meghan, but to her entire team. The monarchy's priority was stability, not personal loyalty. Yet while the palace made its position clear, it also chose silence as a strategic weapon. There were no press conferences, no public condemnations, no sensational statements. Instead, the quiet response carried its own force, a deliberate and calculated form of pressure. For Meghan, the silence was deafening, a reminder that she now faced the storm largely on her own. The message was stark. The monarchy would protect itself first, and anyone threatening that stability, even a duchess, would not be shielded from consequences. In a world where perception often outweighs reality, Buckingham Palace's restrained but unwavering stance sent shockwaves. Corey Vitiello's revelations had triggered alarms at the highest levels, and the monarchy's response made one thing unmistakably clear: the rules had changed, and they were firmly in the king's hands. The institution moved swiftly to protect itself, regardless of who was involved. But where did Prince Harry fit into this escalating tension? Would these revelations make him more protective of his wife, or drive him to create distance? A marriage tested by truth. Inside the sun-drenched Montecito villa, the storm ignited by Corey Vitiello's revelations struck closest to home. Prince Harry, long known for defending Meghan in the media, now faced allegations so specific and detailed that they could not simply be dismissed. Timelines he had never examined, names he had heard only in passing, and legal irregularities buried in obscure documents suddenly demanded his attention. This was no longer tabloid gossip or online speculation. These were pointed questions about the foundation of their shared history. Harry's reaction was not explosive anger, it was quiet withdrawal. Family dinners reportedly grew tense, filled with prolonged silences. Hours were spent alone on balconies overlooking the Pacific, where he could reflect, weigh facts, and reconcile what he was learning with the woman he had vowed to stand beside. Every glance between them carried unspoken weight. Shared spaces became reminders of growing emotional distance. Trust, as Harry may have realized, rarely shatters in a single instant. It erodes gradually, like water wearing down stone, until a once solid foundation begins to feel fragile. The man who had publicly championed Meghan now appeared to be privately reassessing the very structure of their life together. Questions about timing, transparency, and past relationships surfaced in ways they never had before. Living under the same roof yet inhabiting emotionally separate worlds, Harry and Meghan faced a deeply personal consequence of public controversy. Headlines could not capture the intimate toll. In Montecito, what had once been a home filled with warmth and shared dreams reportedly became a space marked by reflection, unanswered questions, and the nearly invisible weight of doubt. Public opinion fractures across the globe. Around the world, eyes and ears were fixed on every development. News outlets buzzed. Social media platforms erupted. Discussion boards transformed into arenas of heated debate. Corey Vitiello's decision to speak after years of silence reverberated far beyond Canada and California. What had once been private history now held the power to reshape public perception. Supporters of Meghan Markle rushed to her defense, portraying Corey as a disgruntled former partner seeking relevance. They argued his timing was calculated, an attempt to cast doubt on a woman whose life had evolved far beyond their shared past. Critics, however, seized the moment. They questioned transparency and wondered how someone with such a meticulously curated public persona could have left significant chapters unexplored or undisclosed. What amplified the impact was Corey's strategy. He did not shout. He did not lash out. He avoided melodrama. His calm, measured tone projected credibility. Each carefully framed statement invited scrutiny rather than sensationalism. Meanwhile, Meghan's team responded forcefully, labeling his claims as fabrications. Yet the more reactive the denials appeared, the more observers sensed underlying tension. Public perception began to shift. The narrative moved away from charisma and personal reinvention toward credibility and consistency. The Duchess of Sussex, once viewed primarily through admiration and intrigue, now faced relentless examination. Every interview, every memoir excerpt, every public statement was revisited and evaluated through a new lens. In a world shaped by image and reputation, Corey's restrained disclosure shifted attention from glamour to authenticity, from persona to proof. The psychological edge. Just as many anticipated a dramatic escalation, Corey Vitiello chose an unexpected but potent path: restraint. Reports suggested he possessed original documents, private messages, legal records, and materials that could potentially substantiate his claims. Yet he did not release them. There were no explosive exposés, no viral leaks, only silence. That silence transformed into psychological leverage. By withholding the most damaging details, Corey created a lingering tension. Meghan and Prince Harry were left navigating uncertainty, never fully knowing what might surface next. For the public, the absence of definitive closure fueled speculation. Every unanswered question became fertile ground for doubt. Across the Atlantic, Buckingham Palace maintained calculated distance, signaling that its focus was institutional, not personal. In the end, there was no singular explosive moment, no headline that definitively closed the chapter. Instead, the situation unfolded as a slow-burning crisis, defined by uncertainty and psychological weight. Sometimes, what remains unsaid carries more force than any shouted accusation. For Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, and the monarchy, the unresolved tension may have been the greatest challenge of all. So, what do you make of Meghan's former partner's revelations? Could there be more beneath the surface? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to like and subscribe.